Welcome back to Mark Holloway's vlog, everyone. Thanks for joining in. I know it's been a little while, but what we have here is this beautiful F Type R. That's right, I want to share some really useless information today, or actually it might be very useful. Maybe for those of you owners who are kind of curious what that button does, or maybe what that feature does. I want to talk about a few of those things today. Yes, it's the vlog, but I can't help but say, you know, when sometimes the weather's down and out and maybe I'm just kicking around and I want to just poke around in the car, maybe I read the owner's manual, then that's a great time to explore what every little button on the F Type R does. It's a great way to learn a little bit more about how these things tick, how these cars operate. But today I really can't help but share a basic tutorial for those people who either own these cars and maybe you'll learn one or two little details about these, or maybe your decision is to possibly buy an F Type and you want to know some of the nuances, some of the little gadgets, but specifically on the buttons. I want to talk about today all the little buttons and all the little doodads that get this thing running. What does that little switch do? What does that button do? There's lots of technology behind the skins of the F Type. They're very complex vehicles. Sometimes some would argue too complex, but wait till the electrified vehicles come out. It'll be 10 times the complicated affairs. But today I want to share through a tutorial how each and every single button operates on an F Type. Let's get into it now. So let's start with the outside. Let's take a look here. Here's the first button that you can actually touch. You can press this, and then it unlocks the door. You can now press it here and it relocks the door. Now over here, as long as I have the key fob in my hand or in my pocket here, I'm able to operate. There's a button under here. You can feel there's a little rubber knobby. Press that and there you go, and you actually get the rear trunk. So there's a little button you can see right there, and there's a set of LEDs on both sides. Here you also have something here, not really a button, but a great little feature to fill up your windshield juice right there. And here's another button. Since we're in the same business, hit that, and away she goes, and it's closed by itself again. Let's see what's going on inside these vehicles. Let's try this again. Unlock. And let's climb inside. So first of all, let's start this ticking heartbeat right there. As you can see, it's throbbing heartbeat. Love that pulse. That's your start, that's your stop. We're gonna hit it once without the foot on the brake, and we'll go like that. Now we have full ignition, we can test out a lot of our electrics. You have a means to lock. Unlock, lock, and unlock it again. You can also do the same thing from the passenger side. Here we have these great seat adjustments. This is a great feature here. You can either push that in, up, down, and as you can see, what that does is it pushes out the support in the center of your back. That's a nice little feature. Here, this is the recline. Of course, it's the seat back, and you'll notice how it's all shaped like a seat. So we can go forward and back with that. Back, forward, back, forward. And then, of course, you've got this guy here, which this moves the seat forward and back. You can go push the seat forward, pull it back. This also allows you to raise and elevate the seat. If you're shorter, you can bring this up or you can bring it down. Let's just say you're a newer driver to this car. Maybe you have your own set of presets you'd like to activate. And how you activate your seat is you hit memory, the lights on, hit preset. Then it says memory 3 settings saved. Then we hit the next series of buttons. Down here, you'll notice we got the trunk release right there. Press that, and you'll see the trunk opens up. Press it again, and it'll close from here as well. So it's an open close right from the driver's seat. Then if you look down here, you have this little guy here. What do you think that is? Let's press it. And you'll notice at the top, LKA off. So we're talking about lane keeping assist. So you can either hit it or hit it again. And then you look up here, you hit it, and you'll see the little lines at the top that shows that's the lane keeping assist. And you hit it again, and now it's LK off. So that's a quick way to activate and deactivate your lane assist. Here, of course, we have fog light button, kind of a basic mode there. And then over here, we actually have the light controls for the dimness on the dashboard. You can press and squeeze that out and give that a tweak, and you'll notice a little marker light on there. Notice a little marker line. As you change that, press it, and you're done. So that's all wonderful there. What about up here? We have these nice little soft touch. Give them a once, Give them a twice. And they don't need an actual depression. They're just a soft touch, almost a capacitive type switch. There we go. And we can turn that one off too. What about down here? We go to the side of the steering wheel and we have this very cool little button. It's out of sight, out of mind. If you select the auto mode, the steering wheel may move on its own depending on the driver's presets. If you turn it here, then you can use this to go down, to go up, and then you've got telescopic as well, where it comes out towards you or goes back away from you. So after that, we can come up here and we see this great little knobby here. Here we have the little knob. So this is a great little piece. We have a few options here. We have our lighting options, which puts it in auto, or keep your lights on permanently, high, or as well, you can turn it off altogether by activating it and aligning it with the arrow. Let's put that back to auto mode. But over here is more interesting. We have the trip mode, and by operating that, you press the button. So we hit that. So you'll notice down on the bottom as I toggle the trip button, you see A and then fuel. Now what you have here is a 10.8 liters per 100 kilometers is my recent average on this particular trip. Toggle it again and you have your current. Now since we're not driving, you're not going to see a number. Once you drive, you'll see that number. Press it again and you'll see 334 kilometers in this last trip. Press it again and we can make it disappear. Press it one more time, we get the date. And then we go back to the beginning. Now it's also really cool, this is a signal, but you'll notice if you pull it all the way down, you notice the signal light sits and toggles like every other vehicle does. And then you tick it once and it turns off. But if you go halfway, it gives you 3 ticks. Hit it again, 3 ticks. If you go all the way down, it just ticks forever and ever and ever, and we turn that off. Very cool. And then on this stock, this is all your windshield wiper. So at the very bottom, it's off. Next one up, it's intermittent. Next one up, it's a steady stream. And next one up, it's faster run. Turn that off. Then down here, we have intermittent wipers. This is a more detailed element here. Here, if we press the button, we get the windshield washer squirters, which applies juice to the windshields as well as the headlights. You get the headlight squirters on the front. And then you'll toggle this other switch, and you'll see the arrow lines up with minimum, and you can crank it up through a varying degree of speeds on your intermittent wipers, which is essentially here is the maximum when you go all the way up, or you can dial it back down. And then here what we have is the paddle shift. Here this is up. As you'll notice, you've got the plus, and here you have the minus. Now that allows you to shift gears. As you're pulling gears, you can drive and accelerate. You can either let it drive in auto, or you can pull gears and it will automatically start shifting gears manually as soon as you start pulling it. Or if you switch this into dynamic mode and into sport, it will keep it permanently in manual mode, which is via these paddle shifters. Now over here we have a bunch of things going on. Here you can hit that and that's essentially your hands-free phone, or in this case what we can do is activate the mode. We're on satellite radio, so as I activate mode, I can toggle away from that and I can then go to radio. This is FM radio, and I can also toggle again, go to media library, whether I go through USB or some other form of media, and then we can toggle again and we're back to satellite radio. Here we have a few selection while we're in radio mode. We can definitely volume down. We can volume up here. Volume down. And then of course, using these 2 buttons here, we can select our stations now. Again, we are truly in media mode. So now as I toggle this over, I'm switching this to the right, and you're seeing you're changing the stations. You'll notice the stations toggle all through the center of the dash. You're also seeing that activate over here. So it's extra validation when you hit this. But it doesn't just end with the media controls here. If we activate the menu OK right here, this now allows us to operate different features from driver assistance. We go in, hit OK. We can go in there and activate different features like AEB, reverse traffic detection, lane keep assist, which mentioned before. You can operate that via a little button below. Of course, we've got blind spot monitoring as well. And as we scroll down, there's speed limit awareness. And then we can also get our information, both our trip information, as well as we can get our display information. We hit OK. We can go in there, info panel, media, trip summary, or logo. And as you saw earlier, I was toggling media when I naturally hit this info panel, but I can also do the trip summary to be in the centralized as the main focal point, or the logo of for Jaguar is I can actually default to that center logo. We can also activate units. Are we in the US or Canada? We can talk about speedometer. If you like kilometers an hour or miles per hour, maybe I'll toggle it to miles per hour one day. Anyway, we'll switch that out. Trip computer, pressure. Now we're talking about PSI, kPa, and bar. So we'll back that out. That's for tire pressures and temperatures. Typically, we're going to measure in the sense of Celsius or Fahrenheit. And now we can go to vehicle settings. Enter that. Then you have show warnings, security features, convenience features. Go in there and you can activate interesting features. For example, reverse dip the mirrors, Windows Global Open or Windows Global Close, wiper settings, and gear shift paddles. You can even make alter many different settings, active in S only or active in S and D. So it gives you lots of different individualization in terms of your gear shift paddles, how they're operating, the wiper settings. Again, gives you lots of different features and controls of those features. Then we go to vehicle info, click into that. We're talking tire information, pressure units. We don't need to know much more about that. Tire pressures. Now here's where you're going to check your tire pressures, and you'll see we've got about 2.7 bar across the board, with the exception of the one being at 2.8 bar. Now I can tell that the tires are fairly well and fairly well aired up, as well as fairly even. So we back out of there. You can also check your next service dates. Oil service is due in 23,000 kilometers, which is absolutely ludicrous, because we all know that we shouldn't be exceeding any more than, say 12,000, 10,000 kilometers on an oil change. However, that's what it comes up, or a year, whichever comes first. Oil level, we can actually go over here, overfilled. It says mildly overfilled. The vehicle's hot. This was actually recently serviced at the dealer, so if it's overfilled, it's strictly on them. But also my vehicle's sitting at a slant, so that may have something to do with where the sensor resides. So that's all your information, your vehicle controls, your music. The majority of your hand controls are laid right here. Over here you have another selection of items. So this little section over here is also great. This is more or less your cruise control. You can set your speed right there, do the increased speed, and as well as slow your speed down when it's in cruise control mode. If for some reason you hit the brakes, and the cruise control drops out, you can actually hit resume again here and it'll continue on as it was. Here, cancel, you can shut it down completely. And as well, here is how you set your speed right there. Here, nice little feature, that's your heated steering wheel. A little bit of an odd piece, but it was a great place to put it. It allows you the comforts that you would expect when the weather gets really cold and yucky outside and there's snow on the ground, which satisfactorily enough, there's no snow out there. And I can't tell you how excited I am that we finally don't have any snow. As you guys saw last week in the vlog, we did a walk around at Easter here with the fam out at the acreage. That was our Easter weekend and we had snow, lots of snow out there in the woods. Of course, here now we no longer have snow, but yesterday there was a little bit of snowflakes falling, so it's still brisk here. So this heated steering wheel is still a great element. I love having that available. And it's great for us who live in Canada and have these long, cold winters. So what do we have over here? Park. There's a little button tucked under behind here. Press that. That's your interlock. Now it allows you to put it into gear. Then we set off. Now we want to stop driving, press and park. That's a pretty simple little button. I see lots of people on the forum dealing with sticky buttons and buttons that are wearing out. This is one of them. And some of these buttons are known as well to wear out. Of course, as we activate, we can also do this in sport mode. Then we press the interlock button, press that, pull it into drive. Now it will allow us to push it over. Now we can operate in sport mode via the stick shift or the paddle shifters. Either or is an option. But you need to have this in drive to be able to do that. Toggle that over. Now it's free and clear. Press the park. Now it's parked again. Here, stereo volume controls. You can turn it off, and you turn it back on just by activating that. You can also turn the volume up or down with this knob, as well as, like I said before, you've got your volume controls here duplicated. Here, great little button. I love this guy. What is this? It looks like a couple of chutes. Yes, because that's your exhaust tips. Press that once, you see it's illuminated. That now gives you full exhaust bark at about 3,500 RPM on. So this is your neighborhood friendly button. If you're driving through the neighborhood and you don't want to annoy your neighbors over there, you're able to hit that button and not roar out of town if you just idle out of the neighborhood. But we can turn that off and it'll be silent mode. Here, traction control, we press that. And then you'll see right there, it enables and it disables. We can turn it off or turn it back on. Here, auto start, we all know, controversial button. Right now it's activated. Turn that and it's off. Turn it back on and it's on. Here is your little button. This only works under one condition. We press this and you'll notice nothing happening back there. However, if we turn the vehicle off and then we turn it on to ignition on but not running, press that. Now you'll notice all the lights are on. That's when this comes alive. So now press this. And then you'd really only need to do that if you try to get underneath there and do some cleaning. So that's about the only reason you'd ever do that, because it does not allow you to operate that while you're driving. This here, emergency brake or park brake. Pull it up to engage it. Push it down. Press your foot. Press it down to disengage it. Now this is where the juice comes in. Here, if you've got this in Snowflake, that gives you dumb mode. You'll notice it illuminates. That essentially drastically reduces the output of the engine. Dumbs down the throttle response, reduces revs, and just prevents the vehicle from being too wild, hairy, or too crazy. It really helps you just keep the vehicle a little more stable and a little more planted, even if you don't have the best tires. However, the mode you really want is this mode, because when you hit dynamic mode, it goes yellow, and now all of your gauges actually go fully red, and you get full exhaust bark. Your vehicle makes all kinds of crazy exhaust notes once dynamic mode is fully engaged. So here you have a whole plethora of buttons and knobs. Here, hazard button. If that was a BMW, that button's probably going to be worn out. However, here we have recirculation, keeps the fresh air inside the cabin. And here we have AC as well as auto. Auto's great. That keeps, depending on your choice and your selected temperatures on these two modes, because we have dual climate control, it keeps that whole temperature standard and stationary, gives you the cooling and heating that you need depending on the requirements based on the temps required. Here, you can change that speed of the fan and you can change your temperature. You can also activate that. Now, if you look really closely, you'll see a blue and you'll see a red. That essentially is for your heated seats. Down here says small push for a seat. Push that in. Now it shows your seat. You can either dial that in to cool your seats off so you can keep your rump cool and fresh if things are really hot. And then you can switch it the other way and go full heated seats. Now you have the red lines that tell you that the seats are starting to heat up. But in this case, let's turn that off. We don't need either right now. Over here, max defrost. We have the front heater element in the windshield, and as well we have the rear defrost. When you activate this, it goes full bore and the heater fans blow as much air and heat to the windshield to defrost as fast as possible. And again, when you activate this, this also activates the heating elements that you can't see here, but they're buried within the glass. That's why these windshields are so expensive, because they have temperature sensors, they have humidity sensors, and a lot of that is activated via these kind of controls. This here is essentially a dummy, or would take a place of the conventional lighter, but who smokes these days? Not too many. However, that could fit there. A lot of people put dummies in there with funny little logos on them, like bombs or evacuation buttons or something interesting there. And of course over here, nice little button, wham, bam, pure electric. And as well, passenger side there has one window control, as opposed to all the window controls on the driver door here, where I could operate soft touch, and it opens automatically, and then I hit it once, and you'll notice the window goes up. Here I can do the same thing with the passenger, and I can also select the mirror controls here. And of course here I can toggle left mirror, right mirror, and as well you can control your mirrors by the activation of this joystick. So as you can see, there's a lot of technology buried under there, and there's a lot more automation that you don't even speak of as well that's going on under there. So there's a lot of potential for failure, but there's a lot of comforts, and quite frankly, that's why I bought the car. With the electrification around the corner, I can't even imagine. I was shopping for a Ferrari the other day, and unfortunately I can't even buy the last of a turbocharged Ferrari, because everything now is going to be a hybrid. That's just where everything's going. So this car, it's fun, fast, furious, loud. but it still has all the comforts that you could possibly expect from a modern day luxury car. So hope you all enjoyed that small tutorial. I couldn't help but take a little break away from the vlog per se and not talk so much about a day in the life. However, there it is, the Jaguar F Type button tutorial. Hope each and every one of you come back real soon, and hey, guess what? Love for you to subscribe. If you're not currently a subscriber, please do. If you are, thanks everyone. I see the channel building, developing, growing, and it's extremely promising. I'm loving it and I'm having a great time. Hope to see you real soon. Catch you then. Bye-bye.